Assalamualaikum and hi guys. So in this video you will learn on how to determine types of graph. So we have three types, which is even, odd, or neither graph or neither function. So we refer for the first graph, which is for the even function. So this is the example for the even function or even graph. Okay, so the graph of an even function is symmetric about the y-axis, or it looks like a mirror image. Okay, so we refer to this image. Okay, so based on the first figure here, we have a graph on the left hand side and we have the graph for the right hand side. So it started from the maybe around here negative 3 pi over 2, and this one is 3 pi over 2. Okay, so based on this graph, how should you know whether this is the even, odd, or neither? So if the even graph, so the even graph must be symmetric about the y-axis, or it looks like a mirror. So means that the y-axis here is your mirror. So mirror means that, so this is your cermin lah. Okay, so based on this figure, so we refer to the left figure here. We want to see whether it is transposed or symmetric with the y-axis here. Is it transposed the same pattern or not same pattern? Okay, so if we refer here, we have the curve like this. So actually this is the cos of x. So the graph for the cos of x. So we want to see whether this pattern is transposed the same pattern on the right hand side. So means that this is our mirror. So we will transpose the same pattern on the right hand side. Okay, so means that kita akan tengok graf di bahagian kanan ataupun kiri kita. So selalunya untuk mudah kita tengok graf di bahagian kiri. Tengok dia transform pattern yang sama ataupun tak dekat bahagian kanan ni. Okay, so tengok pattern dia ada keli di bahagian bawah. So you must also have keli di bahagian bawah. So this one dia berhenti dekat 2. So you have to continue the same value dekat 2. So this is what I mean by it is transposed like a mirror. Okay, so we refer for the second graph. Okay, so we have the graph at the bottom side here. So refer to the left hand side. So this pattern will be transposed to the right one. Okay, so nak tengok sama ada dia simetrik ataupun tak dekat bahagian kanan. So this is our mirror. Okay, so this graph on the left hand side will be transformed the same pattern on the right hand side. So means that this is the even graph. So we refer for the next one. So this one we have the curve going up. Okay, so this is your y-axis or the mirror. Okay, so this pattern on the left hand side will be transformed or transposed the same pattern to the right hand side. So bila dia transform pattern yang sama, maksudnya dia adalah even graph. Okay, so kita tengok dekat bahagian cermin kita ni, adakah dia transform pattern yang sama kiri dan kanan. Okay, so means that this one ada curl ke bawah, yang this one pun ada curl ke bahagian bawah. So means that this is the even graph. Okay, the next one, we have the graph on the left hand side ada slope, and we also have the slope on the right hand side. So dia transform pattern yang sama ataupun dia transpose pattern yang sama dekat y-axis. So this is your mirror or the y-axis. So you are transforming the same pattern for the right hand side. So this is the even graph. Okay, for the next one, the y is your mirror. So we refer to the left graph. So you have the curl on the left hand side. So this curl will be transposed to the right hand side, will become like this. Okay, so based on this figure, you have to determine whether the given figure is even, odd, or neither. So you don't have to sketch the figure. Okay, so you will be given the figure. Based on the figure, you have to determine whether the given figure or the given graph is even, odd, or neither. Okay, so if the graph is symmetric about the y-axis, so means that that is the even graph. Okay, so we have finished for the even graph. So now we go for the odd graph. Okay, for the odd graph, so based on my notes, the graph of an odd function is symmetric about the origin. Okay, so if even it is symmetric about the y-axis, now it is symmetric about the origin. So origins means that on your center here, 0, 0. Okay, for the first graph, we have a straight line from the bottom until to the upper side. So let's say I give the value here 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the negative 4 and this is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 4. This is also negative 4. So we have the same value for the left hand side, right hand side. Also the same value for the bottom side and upper side. So if the graph is symmetric about the origin here, so means that the transformation of the graph is the graph at the bottom side will be transformed to the upper side. So if the given graph is even function, the transformation is between left hand side to the right hand side. So means that you will have the pattern on the left hand side and on the right hand side. So you can refer to the given example before this. For the even graph, you must have left and right hand side. You must have left and right hand side for the even graph. Okay, but for the odd graph, your graph will be the bottom side and upper side. Okay, so we also have to make sure the bottom side and the upper side is depends based on the same value. It must be same value, means that if the upper side is positive 4, the bottom side must be negative of 4. So that will be the odd graph. So the transformation for the odd graph, or how we will refer the transpose of the bottom side to the upper side, it will transpose to the origin. Okay, so this graph at the bottom side will be transformed to the upper side. So means that it is transposed or it is symmetric about the origin. So means that now this is our mirror. Okay, because our symmetrical at the origin. Okay, so now for the second graph, this is our origin. So means that this is our mirror. So this pattern will be transformed to the upper side. Okay, so the symmetric means that pantulan dia ke bahagian atas. Okay, so the next one, you have the curl, the one pattern on the right hand side going down to the left hand side. Okay, so now we refer the graph on the left hand side here at the bottom side. Your symmetrical is about the origin. So this is your origin 0, 0. So this pattern will be transformed to the upper side. Okay, so that's why it will be something like that. Okay, so let's say I crop this one. Okay, so this is your graph on the left hand side. So we want to see the transformation or the symmetric about the origin. So whereby your origin is in the middle here. So I make it in blue color. So now we want to see the symmetric about the origin. Okay, so this graph will be moved to the upper side. So it means that we rotate the graph. So it just like the rotation of the graph to the upper side. So it will become like this. So that is what we mean by the symmetric about the origin. Okay, so it's depend on how you easy to see the pattern. As long as you know for the odd graph, it is symmetric about the origin. So means that this is your mirror now. So if even, your mirror is at the y-axis. If for the odd, your mirror will become the origin. So it will be transposed to the opposite side. Okay, so for this one, we have the graph of sine of x. So this is your y-axis and this is our origin. So the graph on the left hand side will be transformed or symmetric about the origin. So that's why we have changed the pattern to the upper side. So this one, let's say I crop here. Okay, so this pattern will be symmetric about the origin. So means that it is rotate for the right hand side. It will become like this. So that's why the original left hand side is this graph. Okay, this one, when we symmetric about the origin, it will become the opposite side. So the bottom side will become the upper side on the right hand side. So that is how we refer for the symmetric about the origin. Okay, now we go for the last graph, which is the neither graph. For the neither graph, the graph is not symmetric about the origin and it is also not symmetric about the y-axis. So means that the graph on the left hand side and on the right hand side is not the same pattern. Okay, so for the first graph, we only have one graph at the upper side, even though we have the right hand side and left hand side. But this graph for both sides is not the same pattern. So means that it is not symmetric about the origin and it is not symmetric about the y-axis. Okay, so means that y ni cermin kita. So let's say kalau this one awak nak transpose ke bahagian kanan, so dia tak bertindak macam cermin pun. Okay, graf di bahagian bawah sepatutnya kalau dia cermin, dia akan jadi sebaris macam ni lah. Okay, but then this one, it is from the upper side going down to the bottom side. So that's why it is not symmetric about the origin and not symmetric about the y-axis. Dua-dua pun bukan. So that's why dia adalah neither graph. So for this one, we only have one side of the graph, only for the right hand side. From the right hand side upper side going down to the bottom side. So it means that even though this is our y-axis, there is no graph for the right hand side. So that's why it is not symmetric about the y-axis. And it is also not symmetric about the origin here. So that's why this is the neither graph. For the last one, we have a slope here, but the slope here is from the right hand side going down to the left hand side. It is not touch the origin here. So it is not odd, and it is not also even, because this is our mirror here. It should be the transformation must be on the right hand side to the left hand side, or to the left hand side to the right hand side. So means that this is the neither graph. So neither graph is not symmetric about the origin and also not symmetric about the y-axis. Okay, so I give you another example here. So we have the same pattern on the left hand side and right hand side. So I name this one as number 1 and this is as number 2. So based on the number 1 here, the graph have the same value positive 2 and negative 2. But for the graph number 2 here, we have a different value, positive 2 and negative 3. Okay, so now we want to see whether the first graph is symmetric about the y-axis. Is it looks like a mirror? So we have the pattern on the left hand side, which is the horizontal line. So if we want to transpose this pattern to the right hand side, which is to become even, it must be a horizontal line also. Okay. So kalau kita nak transform graf bahagian kiri ke bahagian kanan supaya dia jadi even, dia mestilah ada horizontal. But for this one, there is not horizontal on the left hand side to the right hand side. Graf dia di bahagian bawah kat sini. Okay. So that's why for this option, this is not even. So we have 3, right? Even, odd, and neither. Okay, so in order to become odd, it must be symmetric about the origin. So now origin here is 0, 0. So this is your mirror. So this pattern will be transformed to the bottom side. So we have positive 2 and this one is also negative 2. So the choice of the answer is odd graph. So it cannot become neither here because this graph is transposed or symmetric about the origin. So this is our origin. Okay, so the graph on the upper side is transformed to the bottom side. So for this one, the answer is odd. Okay, now we refer to the number 2 here. For the option number 2 here, we have even, odd, and neither. For the even graph, it cannot become even because the graph for the horizontal 2 here, not the horizontal on the right hand side. So that's why this is not even. Okay, even is not the choice for this answer, for this graph. Okay, sebabnya graf kita bahagian kiri adalah positif 2. Sepatutnya kalau dia transform macam cermin, dia mesti duduk dekat bahagian kanan dia, positif 2 juga. Sebab tu, even bukan jawapan. Okay, so kita ada bahagian atas dan bahagian bawah. So, the possibility dia nak jadi odd pun boleh. Tapi, when you have a different value here, positive 2 and negative 3 here, so means that it cannot become even. It cannot become odd. Okay, in order to become odd, we must have the same value for the positive and negative. So the choice for this one is neither. So this is the neither graph because the graph is not symmetric about the y-axis. It's not like a mirror, dia tak ada pun bahagian kanan dia kat sini. Okay, so this is a neither. So dia juga bukan symmetric dekat origin sebab pattern dia kat sini positive 2, this one is negative 3. Okay, so based on the graph, you have to determine whether it is even, odd, or neither graph. So that's all for the video. Thank you.